Welcome to Discover Ramona, where we showcase the people, places, and businesses that make it the best place to live. I'm your host, Valley, and I'm here with my co-host, Jan Ryan.
Hi, Valley. How are you?
Hi, Jan. It's good to see you again.
You too.
Yeah. So what's going on in, Ramona real estate? I hear you have some really cool listings out there.
Yeah, I have some cool listings, and I also have some great news for buyers.
Okay.
Our inventory in Ramona went up from 23 to 48 homes.
Oh, wow. That's
So,
big.
Isn't that great?
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
That's double.
It is, because there's a lot of buyers looking for properties that haven't been able to find what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So along that line, I have two amazing properties. And what I love about these is they back to hundreds of acres of open space.
Oh my gosh, a dream.
It is. You can take your horse and just ride out the backyard or hike for miles and miles.
Yeah.
And one of them, I've heard you can ride your horse all the way to the coast.
Oh
I haven't
really?
verified that. And they're both all set up for horses. You
Oh
can
my gosh, really?
put your
So like the
horses-
trail or the homes are set up for horses?
Yeah, or plenty of room
Mhm.
to bring your horses.
Awesome.
So a great opportunity.
Well, and that's why you're a pro in all things Ramona real estate. You have the opportunity. You're able to showcase these homes, and you're the best one to list those type of homes. Being that you travel those mountains all the time, like the back mountains just like the back of your hand.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
cool. So who did you bring for us today?
Oh, well, I brought Dawn Perfect. She's been a Ramona staple and has been an advocate for Ramona for the last 10 to 20 years on the school board and also the planning group. So I'm so happy to have her here.
I love people like that. Let's meet her.
Let's meet her.
Welcome to the show, Dawn Perfect. It's glad to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Thanks for having me today.
So Jan told me a little bit about you. She told me that you're a real big advocate in Ramona. You're on a couple boards, right? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the things that you do and what you've done in the past?
Sure. So I've been knocking around Ramona since I was very small. My grandparents had a weekend place there when I was a little tiny kid.
A weekend place.
So
Nice.
we've had, what is that? 2, 3, 4 generations in Ramona.
Nice.
Yeah. Currently, our 4 grown kids are married, all live in town with their little ones, and my parents as well.
Good for you.
So, yeah.
Okay, and then
long roots.
business-wise, what are some things that you dabble in?
So a lot of community planning and land use and education,
Okay.
right? Parks, the stuff that makes town great,
Mhm.
the things that make people want to live there, that make the quality of life so high.
I think one of the things, I'm a mother of 3 young children,
Right.
and we always are looking for parks, different parks around San Diego, and it seems like the good parks, because we live in Lakeside, are far away. And some of the parks, they're crowded, that are local in like East County area. So to think that there's going to be some upcoming parks potentially in
Sure.
Ramona,
Yeah.
even though it's not that far, it's just right over the hill,
Right. Well, probably one of Ramona's famous park type features is Potato Chip Rock.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody's heard of Potato Chip Rock. And that is just one piece of Ramona's park situation. If you look at a map of Ramona, we are almost completely surrounded by open space preserves of one sort or another, from Mount Woodson over to the Ramona grasslands, all the way around up. We connect to the Cleveland National Forest on the far side of town. It's really a beautiful place. And then we have the playground type parks as well.
Awesome. And then you also have done some advocacy like through the school board. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I've been on the Ramona Unified School Board since 2008. We have fantastic schools, really dedicated teachers, and it's a very safe learning environment for our students. Very friendly schools. If you want to have your kid at a school where every staff member knows your child's name, Ramona's the place.
Oh, I love that. What are some things that you've gotten behind, like projects that have gone through and successfully been implemented?
Right. So probably the one that people that are not from Ramona are most familiar with is the Grasslands Preserve with the Hawk Watch. I know you've been out there for Hawk Watch before, right? And that is just a fantastic opportunity for families like yours to really engage with nature in a pretty low key and accessible way. You can get there, park. There's always enough parking. The trails right there are very easy, great for kids, and you will almost certainly see some interesting wildlife. So that Grasslands Preserve was just huge. And it was a big land use planning effort there because that property was going to be houses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, most properties owned by somebody, right?
And it's not,
the owner of that
somewhat
intended to build some very nice homes.
Yeah.
But instead, it is now the Grasslands Preserve that we all get to enjoy.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And what's amazing is when I first met Dawn, I was blown away. It was a Ramona real estate event.
Right.
And I love those events. They're very informative for all the agents so we can stay on top of things. But Dawn spoke and you were so knowledgeable, and the things you were able to accomplish blew me away.
Oh, well, thank you so much. You know, I have a list. I have a big list.
I want to see it.
Well, you know, you probably saw it written on my hand in miniature form that day because there are a lot of projects that I'm interested in Ramona, from roads and connectivity to get a decent transportation and circulation element, the sidewalks, the bike lanes, and of course the trails and pathways.
Yeah.
So yeah, those things take a long time. If they don't get put in right when houses are built, then going back and getting them is a lot of work.
And it's so important to have people like you in the community because, I mean, there's people that have passions. Like we have passions for real estate and loans. And this seems like a passion of yours to really get involved in the community and make it a better place. So like, where's that stemming from?
Well, you know, part of it, like you said, with your children, I have a big family. My kids all are grown and married, and they all live within 5 minutes of me right there in town. So all along, it's been this eye on the future, knowing that I was raising my family there when I started. My children were very young. And just knowing, hey, we don't have a sidewalk there. I have twins, right? There's a section of town where literally pushing a double stroller, I'm like, okay, this is not working. We don't have sidewalks here, one block off our state highway going through town. So it was some very personal things like that got me motivated in the first place. But
I love that.
I had great mentors that helped me learn that, there are projects that happen quickly. That's a one and done, great. But there are other really long range projects, and you really have to stay with it to get things done.
Yeah, I bet. And so some of the, I mean, I'm sure it costs a lot of money, right? Like,
it's always the money.
This doesn't just come out of nowhere and the people get together and fundraise, do a GoFundMe and build this park or add this sidewalk. So how does the city or how do they figure out where the money should go? Are you part of that?
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned city, right? Ramona's not a city.
Right.
So that is
the hard part.
That is one of the hard parts. It's kind of the crux of the problem there. We are unincorporated San Diego County. The unincorporated part of San Diego County is vast, and we're just one little piece of it. So that pot of money, the Board of Supervisors has control over, and there's a lot of competing interests.
So you have to go fight.
There's a lot of competing interests. So it's a lot of building long-term relationships with the people that hold those purse strings.
Yeah.
Picking projects that are of benefit to not just one demographic, but across the board. I mentioned about the stroller, but that also means that people don't have ADA accessibility. If you can't push the double stroller through there, then you're not getting a wheelchair there either.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of knocking on doors, making phone calls, setting meetings, talking to people, finding out who's in charge. You can't get things done going straight to the top most of the time.
Yeah.
You're going to get kicked back down to the staff member that is knowledgeable in that area. The funding pieces are crazy complicated. You mentioned about grants, right? These grants are competitive. Public dollars are scrutinized heavily, as they should be, right? So a lot of the projects that I work on are funded with public money. So there's a lot of hoops to jump through.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. We need people like you, though, going and fighting for that. And that's why it's like, it really puts a spotlight on Ramona, because not every area in the unincorporated parts of San Diego are there somebody like you fighting for the community, right? And so it just brings more awareness that, hey, Ramona really is about the people. They want the best for this community, and we're willing to fight for it, and we'll show up, and we'll do the things that we need to do to make sure that they get the parks, that you get, that makes it a beautiful environment.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say Ramona has just about the highest quality of life for its residents of any place in San Diego. People that live there are happy.
They are.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that drives me is, of course, we pay a lot of taxes here in California, San Diego in particular. And when I see the tax money that we're all paying in, it's very hard to get that tax money coming back into the town. So that's one of my big goals and motivators is we've paid all this money and someone needs to do the hard work of bringing that money back into our town to build the things and create the things that it's intended for.
Yeah.
Right.
I totally agree.
It takes a lot of dedication and time.
It does. And I get real fired up. So
yeah, I love it.
I get a little passionate about these
because
things.
you get things done.
I do, but there are times when I go a long stretch and think I'm not getting anything done. I'm going to meeting after meeting after meeting, and I wake up in the morning and think about I haven't heard back from so and so yet. What's the nice way to nag and get done?
What's the best way we can all help you?
Yeah.
Stay involved. Let the people that are doing stuff in town know what you want, and if you don't really have the drive to dig in and spend years trying to get something done, communicate with someone like me, or I know you had Casey Lynch on a little while back. He's chair of the planning group. Talk to Casey. Talk to the people that you know are involved, because I don't know what I don't know. So if it's not on my radar, I can't work on it. Right.
And if you have a special meeting or something that we need to show up to, we'll get the word out.
We're a little bit quaint in that the Ramona Sentinel, our newspaper, is still a great way to get information, right? So look at the Sentinel with those meetings that are coming up. And of course, social media in Ramona is, that's the way people get information really in Ramona. It's kind of funny. I don't know if other towns are like that, but Facebook is huge, right? If you want to know what's happening in town, hop on the Facebook. And there are pages dedicated to every little thing. Every little thing, right, right. But yes, if there's something, like you live not too far from the grasslands, I think. But if you see that there's a trail that needs the connectivity piece, we work on that with the planning group. We have trails experts involved in the community. That's a big issue. I know there's been some out by you. Getting those trail connections or sidewalks that are incomplete. If there's a question or concern about schools or projects, we have a few pieces of land in Ramona that are constrained with vernal pools and other environmental issues. So we're working through that, trying to resolve some of those things.
And I know that started your journey too.
It did.
Speaking of which.
It did.
But
it's fine. There was a project that was built right on our main street, and I was trying to figure out how in the world did this project get built with very little community input right in the center of our town, taking prime real estate when it doesn't need prime. It's the post office, right? And it blocked off a street, right? A block off of Main Street. But now you can't pass through there, and another connection. And I just thought, how does this happen? And so I started making phone calls, and somebody met me out there and explained the lay of the land, literally the lay of the land. Well, here's how it works. And of course, the bigger the player, sometimes the less input happens at the local level. So, the federal government wants something right there. It happens.
It gets it.
Right? It happens. So, but that kind of got me fired up about, well, if this road can be blocked off with this project, then what about the next block over or this one over here? And how do we keep that from happening?
And it was your dedication to the community, and then you met Arvie.
Oh, yeah. Arvie Dagenfelder was a fantastic mentor of mine. Many others over the years as well. Angus Tobiasen, who was involved in the planning group for a long time, who would pull up and just start knocking on my door, and he could tell I was home. And he just was relentless. He knew I was home and I wasn't getting to the door. He'd knock and knock, and he'd just say, "Hey, Dawn, there's something I want to show you. Wow. Hop in the truck." And I'd say, "Well, can I get my shoes?" And he'd tell me, "Well, you can, but you don't need them." Okay. And so he'd drive me around to some part of town where he saw something that could be improved. In one case, he showed me a piece of private property along the Santa Maria Creek Greenway that was just beautifully manicured, still natural, but beautifully manicured. And he said, this Creek Greenway that you've been talking to the Degenfelders about running all the way through town out to the grasslands could look like this.
Wow.
And that was his point. He could describe to me what needed to be done, or he could just take me out and show me what it could look like to really give me the vision.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I love that because there's so many things I would love to see, but to get to the point where I can make them happen.
Yeah, yeah. And, the old time Ramonans had a lot of vision for what the town could be, but these things do take
The Ramonans.
Ramonans, right?
Okay, that's what we're dubbed, Ramonans.
Old time Ramonans, right? And so I really have benefited from the Degenfelders or Angus Tobiasen or some things with Town Hall, right? Woody Kirkman and his crew over there. I don't know if you remember Beverly Ragsdale.
Mm-hmm.
She also was really great at teaching me the ropes on how to get certain things done and to give me that vision because, as sad as it may be, some things take more than a lifetime to get done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
That's what I was thinking. It's like, it's inspiring, but it's also like, is it defeating in a way where you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this through?
No. Remember I said I have 4 kids, so they
yeah,
They're already in there.
Very, very active in the community, right?
Good.
He has a little different focus sometimes than I do, but he's very big on community service.
I love that.
Yeah, all 3 of our boys are Eagle Scouts and very invested in doing good.
Perfect. That's what we need.
Yeah. I don't want to leave Tori out. She's great too.
Okay, so
but she's our youngest and, raising her babies right now.
So if people are looking for some sort of upgrade in Ramona and they have this idea, they can email you, maybe reach out through
sure. Absolutely.
Reach out through social media, attend one of the events through the Centennial and find out.
I'm super accessible. So,
okay.
Stop me in the grocery store.
Oh gosh, don't open that can of worms.
Right.
That never happens, right?
right.
All the time.
The thing about Ramona and being the smaller town that it is, you have to be very genuine. Right? There is no just putting on a facade because you're going to see people everywhere you go and they'll hold you accountable if you've
That's so true.
Yeah.
Well, it was really nice for you to come and share that with us. I mean, I'm so glad that there's people like you in that community that are, doing those things.
There's a whole crew of people very dedicated.
Don't stop.
Right.
We're behind you and we're pushing you.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was really nice to meet you, Jan. Thank you for bringing her on. And
it's so great to have you, Dawn. I respect you so much and admire you.
Thank you so much. Warms my heart.
Come back soon. We got more to talk about.
You know what? We didn't talk about schools, and I would love to come back and talk about schools.
Okay, so talk about schools.
We're planning on that.
Alrighty, let's do it. Well, thank you guys all so much for watching Discover Ramona, where we explore the people, places, and businesses that make it the best place to live. We'll see you next time.